and you always resort back to your default self because it's familiar.
Right.
So can you give an example? Like just like to get a clearer picture. Like,
I know what you're saying, but
like, can it be like in just like a gathering, like a small gathering of something? Like, can you base that, like how you view it in that sense then? To give a clear picture for like me and the other viewers?
Let's say, let's go to the extremes. Say if you're dealing with, like, if you're a racist,
Okay.
right? So right off the bat, it's like you don't give a person of a different race a chance to like actually get to know them, their personality, because you already have this set like way of thinking in your head.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to prejudge this guy, and I'm automatically going to shut him down. Does that apply?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think I was gonna bring up maybe perhaps dealing with depression.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like to me, at one point in my life, I didn't think depression existed.
Yeah.
Type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a weak mentality or whatever. So then when someone tells you they're depressed, I'm like, yo, you're just weak.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
Shit, right? I'm not giving them a chance to convince me.
Yeah.
That type of shit. You know?
Right.
So I feel like that's my personality. You know, like I feel like that's my personality. Like, yo, like I'm just someone who doesn't believe in like depression. But if you actually slow yourself down and give them a chance to kind of explain, then maybe you could understand a little bit more.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Because do you think we're like more influenced before we even know the actual facts?
Yeah.
Like say like
sure.
We're influenced like from what someone said, and we take that as a fact without doing our own research. Yeah. Like saying like, if I go to Chu and I'd be like, yo, Jay's a fuckboy.
Yeah.
And then Jay's like, he's like, yeah, yo, Jay's a fuckboy. But then Chu didn't actually meet you. To do that. He's just taking my influence. So I feel like even in today's world, a lot of people are more influenced than knowing the actual facts behind it.
I totally agree.
Yeah, me too.
Totally agree.
But like at the end of the day, I'm guilty of that too, right?
Yeah, for
like
sure. We all are.
Yeah, we all are on some degree, some level, for sure.
Yeah. It's also like bro code too, right? It's like you have to not like me. Well, Chu has to not like me because
that's
you guys
true
are boys,
too.
right?
Yeah,
so it's like I can't even get to like this guy.
We hate the same people.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Do you carry that still?
Yeah, I do, because I take the relationship that I have with someone, like we have history,
okay,
right? So that means something to me. So I won't, if they don't like somebody, I won't give that person a chance, to build a history with them.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
You won't even allow them in your life, kind of thing. Like pretty much, for you to change your mind.
It's also it could hurt my friend, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I wouldn't do that to them.
Yeah,
right.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much just influenced from a young age to. So do you think your mind like?
But see, what you're saying is also very true.
Yeah.
But you're talking about more exterior influences.
Okay.
I'm talking about even like self influences.
Okay.
Like just because you go through a situation once doesn't mean that's it.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that that's the only answer to that situation.
Right. Exactly.
So you know what I mean. So that's what kind of influences our personality, is because we feel like we've gone through a certain situation and we're like, yo, that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't even give it another chance.
Right.
And so we react a certain way. We make that our belief, but really that can always change.
Exactly.
You know.
Definitely.
It's like watching a movie. Like you watch it 5 years ago and you watch it 5 years later.
Right.
It's like a totally different view, right?
Yeah.
So then, other than the depression, that was a good example. Has that ever happened to you where you were like set in your way, and then your thoughts on a certain thing changed over time? Has that ever happened?
I think depression.
Yeah. Other than depression, though. Any other examples?
I gotta think about this one.
Well, up until recently, I thought, like how they said, like in your 30s, you had your shit figured out.
Yeah.
I actually recently I was like, yo, I have nothing figured out. Like I'm still trying to
definitely.
It feels like I'm still now I'm starting to be like, or work on myself more.
Right.
In that sense, like trying to figure out I don't even know myself like that well anymore. I'm still trying to work on it and find
definitely
I don't know.
Definitely.
Because to see, most people take that other than you, you're figuring out that it's yourself.
Yeah.
Most people feel like once they just find maybe success, something that's kind of tangible.
Okay.
they feel like, oh, like I'm changed, I've evolved.
Yeah.
But really, it's a mental health thing. You know what I mean? Like you got to constantly redefine your thoughts, the way you think and everything like that. And people fail to do that because, like I said, they're set in their ways.
Yeah,
Like I am too, you know, like there's certain things I'm very immature about, you know, but I feel like that's the right way, you know, like, I guess it doesn't come up until you like kind of have to hop that obstacle type of shit.
Right.
You know, do you guys had anything recently that was like a mental, like just clarity that you just kind of had an oversight about? Like it was literally like just night and day to you.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah.
What about you? You might be able to set off a spark that.
I just wanted to ask a question, but I don't know myself either.
I can't say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think just being maybe more verbal, and like me like seeking professional help and being more and like asking for help. Yeah. Like that completely just
right. Because as Asians, like we're brought up to like, you know, be a man, like hold it down, like.
Actually, Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But no, I think I was getting to that thought process of maybe it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Like vulnerability was like something that I never had before, and I think I found that like way late in life, like recently.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Me too. And like being able to even doing this, even like talking about feelings and like I back then, if I went to get professional help, I ain't telling nobody.
Of course not.
I'm not telling you. I'm not like it's definitely like, you know, it's like to myself. But I think like just being more open that way, like I like as like good as from the outside people see, I have issues too.
For sure.
I'm going through some shit too, right?
Right. The way that I see it too, it's just like you know, like bettering yourself. There's no shame in that. If you need help to get better, there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Because the end result, what's the end result, right?
Yeah.
You're a better version of yourself, and that's what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, this is like one of the tricks that I kind of learned to do when I was younger, which was like a really bad thing to do, was that you expose yourself to be vulnerable with things that aren't as serious to kind of cover up your more underlying issues.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like that was a hard thing to kind of accept,
right?
Because certain issues are just too hard to tackle.
Yeah.
So like you're only vulnerable about certain things that just kind of scratches the surface.
Yeah,
for sure.
You're convincing yourself you're vulnerable, but you're really not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing that most guys I don't think would admit.
Yeah. But definitely, it's the way that we're raised.
Sorry, no, I cut you off. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just the way that we're raised. Like we're taught that for so long, right? It's like. You might be going through some shit, but when you're out in public with your friends, it's like, like I'm good, I'm doing great, right? Like everyone asks, like, yo, like how you been? Like I'm good. Like automatically right off the bat, right? You're not like, oh man, I'm fucked up. Right? It's not a thing that we do. Right?
Because also you don't want to like be like, you don't want to drop a bomb.
Exactly.
On
someone,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So it's an automatic thing. But do you agree that it's also your surrounding of like how you're able to like. I'm not going to be vulnerable to like just any like it was just because like I have a vibe with you guys.
Right.
I'm able to talk to you guys because not a lot of people I won't in person to person. There's only like maybe two, 3 people I'm able to talk about that. But most of the time it'll just be like I won't like my surrounding. I'm not going to talk about this shit.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. It takes time to build that.
Yeah. Or not necessarily time because I've known people for like decades, right? And I'm still not at that level.
Right.
So it's like. In certain surroundings, I'm not able to be that.
Yeah, because like, I know what you're saying, and I think the issue with that is that there's a fine line between being vulnerable and being too transparent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna fucking tell anybody all your problems on the spot. Like
exactly.
Like I haven't seen a buddy in like five years. How you doing? I'm like, yo, I'm fucked, bro. You know what I mean? My girl left me. Like, I'm fucking depressed as shit. Like, how are you supposed to respond to that?
Exactly.
But then again, you know what? I met. I know people like that. I've had conversations like that with people that I haven't seen in a long time. It's like straight off the bat, it's like, holy shit.
But you know what though? To be honest though, if that person, like, I'm pretty sure we may all have that kind of person.
Right.
But if they did that to us, I think we would be more understanding because we're very understanding of that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if someone just said that you weren't like, oh, this guy's a weirdo now. You know, like you were like, oh, like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
I think we're just understanding in that sense.
Yeah.
But like, I understand the other side too. Like, if I don't see anyone for a long time, we were never really that close.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said that to me, I'm like, this is kind of awkward, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But in the surrounding sense, what I'm trying to say is like if your friends are just like, you know, those all the alpha, like high ego kind of guys, and like you chill with them all day, and like and no one talks about their feelings or if they're down and stuff, then it's just a effect on the whole circle. So that whole circle is just like they might be all going through issues, but no one wants to talk about it. Right. Like it's like, yo, I'm good. Like don't be a bitch kind of thing. And then you don't even want to talk about anything. Yeah. So is that also a negative thing then? If they're like stuck in that bubble and like they have no one to talk to, like, and then there's just like,
I think it depends on the friendship, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have no outlet at all and your only set of friends are like that alpha whatever, right? Then you need to go do something about it to get the help that you need.
But don't you find like those people, because of their surrounding, they'll never leave because they're like, you can say they're comfortable or like that's all they know. So then they'll never change.
So what skill I learned early on in that exact situation is that you build your character to a certain like degree to be upheld, that being vulnerable isn't such a bad thing. You know what I mean? If you're just a vulnerable person all the time and you're just like, you just don't have that kind of character to like overcome certain shit and you're always needing help or like always needing something, then like you just appear weak. So you can't be vulnerable at that point. So I feel like if you're vulnerable about certain things, you have to build your characters to a certain point where people are kind of like actually listening to you.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
And they're willing to help you.
Yeah.
And I mean, and like that's a skill I had to learn, but it's also not something that's attainable for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, because not everyone has like that charisma. Even though, you know, like
I got you.
Nobody has that charisma. Not everyone has that charisma to like build that character about themselves and or convince others that they're a good type of shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So
it's tough, right? You know,
that's true. Because if like every day I'm like just to you guys like, yo, man, like here's another issue, then you're like, all right, man.
For sure.
Then you're like, all right, man, you gotta quit being a bitch, right?
Exactly. That's the thing, right? It's like, where do you draw the line, right? It's like for myself, right? It's like, do I kick my own ass and do something about it to better myself, or do I just like, like being vulnerable, being this way is healthy?
You're just constantly the victim.
Exactly, right? So it's like you gotta determine like what you're gonna do, I guess, right? Like, because I know people like that. Like, it's just like they kind of milk. And they play the victim card. It's like, yo, get off your bitch ass. You know what I mean?
It
doesn't have to be that way. Right? So it's like a very like fine line how to determine how to like approach the situation and deal with it. I don't know.
It's all very personable.
Right.
And also the person has to show that they're actually trying some shit too, right? And not just constantly just seeking help and like
because what works for me is like I like hearing like, yo, you ain't doing enough, like you're a bitch ass, right? That motivates me to get up and do something, right? Whereas that might not work for somebody else, right?
Because then they're gonna go cry about somebody else and be like, yo, fucking Mega just said I'm a bitch ass,
right? And who knows, like, is like by you, let's just say you call me a bitch ass, like I'm ass, like it may motivate me at the time, but is that doing internal damage to myself? I don't know.
Yeah, through the time, right? Yeah.
So what's the so when we have different sides to certain people, like you were saying, right? So what is your thing that you exaggerate more to make people like you?
I would say like I try to listen to people when they talk, and like listen to like their story, whatever they're saying, and then just keep things light and keep things humorous, I guess. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't like actively think like, yo, how am I gonna get this guy? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe for girls. Right?
Yeah. But even like parents, like not necessarily like your girl's parents or anything. Just like older people, just people who are kind of like outside of your bubble.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I guess like that works. The humor always works with everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess yeah.
I think. How about you? Like, but then again, I don't think you really deter too much. I mean, you have a little like characters here and there because I've seen you around different groups, and you're like not too different, but like there's certain little things, you know what I mean? But it's nothing like crazy extreme, right?
Yeah.
I think with me, I think I get overexcited to find common ground with people.
Okay.
Like overly excited.
Right.
When we have something relatable. But really, it doesn't really mean that much to me.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying it because I just met you, and like, you know what I mean? I just want you to be cool with me. You know what I mean?
So like, what would you be like put on a show? Like, holy fuck!